Hello and welcome to the KerbalVision channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to get to Duna for the first time. This is not going to be a return mission, this is just going to be sending a base there. And the steps to know how to get to Duna, first of all require you to know how to get to low Kerbin orbit. Once the slide pops up, low Kerbin orbit and high Kerbin orbit, so you get the hang of how to launch and take things into space. Now you want to get to the Mun, as learning how to get to trajectory to go and intercept the Mun, get orbit into Mun, land and return. You'll generally want to have done that. And then you'll want to do Minus because it's kind of on a tilted orbit, as are all the other planets in the Kerbal system. So, anyway, you need to have done all of them before you do a Duna mission. Of course, you can try, but you'll probably have some bad luck, or not very good luck at least. So let's get this mission underway. So, as you can see, I put the build in here because I usually try and keep my videos under 25 minutes, but this is way under 25 minutes, so anyway, I'll forget about that, but tell me in the comments whether I should include the build. Anyway, now that that's out of the way, as you can see, we're starting to do our gravity turn. You'll want to have learned how to do this before you do the Duna mission, because it might take a little bit of practice to get this done, maybe 2 little rockets just to get your hang of everything. Anyway, as you can see, we're coming up about the cloud layer, and if you're a beginner to KSP and you're wondering why I've got really good graphics, that's just some mods installed I've got, so none of them are going to affect any gameplay, so you don't need to worry that mine's going to be acting different than yours. I've got auto strut enabled in the settings, which is basically advanced tweakables, then you can auto strut different parts to different parts, so that's a thing you generally want to turn on. I probably should put a video somewhere. Actually, I'll put a video at the end of the video on how to turn that on. Hopefully I remember to do it, but I will make an effort to do that. Anyway, as you can see, now we're flying flat to try and get our orbit extended out. You want to have learnt this. If you haven't learnt this, click off this video right now and learn how to do that. I know this doesn't sound right for YouTube for someone asking you to click off, but I'm telling you now, you need to learn how to do this before you can do a Duna mission. There's so many important parts to doing a Duna mission, and just getting to orbit. So like I said, getting to orbit, you need to learn how to get to orbit properly. Anyway, now we are beginning to exit the atmosphere, or at least the burning part of the atmosphere. As you can see, I've got 4 vector engines down the bottom, which is enough to give us a little boost into orbit. Goodness, I'm not very good with my words today. Anyway, so as you can see, we're using the maneuver node. You want to learn how to do that to make our orbit around Kerbin. So now you can see the base. This is the base we're sending to Duna. This has got loads, oodles more fuel than it needs, and so that's a very good thing. If you make some mistakes, you don't want to. I mean, if it was a dramatic mistake, you definitely revert to launch. Also, another thing to remember. When you're doing a Duna mission or pretty much any mission, make sure you do quick save. That's just basically pushing F5 on your thing and it'll do a quick save. Hold the F9 key and it'll load a quick save. But if you do have, I forgot what I was saying, but you probably heard what I was saying. You probably did. Probably. Now you can see my position from Duna. You want to be at that position from Duna. You must be that position from Duna to be able to, hasn't got to be perfect, but if it's any different, you'll be using a little bit more delta V than you need to, but this has got tons more delta V, so you don't need to worry about that. And also, when you're doing this mission, oh, my brain's just gone blank. When you're making a Duna mission, like I said, just make sure your Kerbin's in this position. So, now we're switching over to the nuclear engine stage. You generally want to, so you can copy this craft, at least copy the booster. If you're sending a small base or anything, see the booster there, copy it, copy the rocket. I mean, I really should have included the build, but try and see how I've done that and try and copy it. Just because it's the best, at least the really good beginner one. So this one's got plenty of things. In fact, I'll see, this may not work, but I'll give it a try. I'll try to put it below this video. I'm not sure if it'll be there, but in the comments, hopefully there will be a craft file from Steam to this file. I'm going to try and do it. I have never done it before, but we'll see. I might be able to do it. So anyway, now we're escaping from Kerbin, and so now we're going to do a part which you usually have to do from any mission, to any planet, and that's called a mid-course correction burn. So as you can see, we're at a maneuver part way along. It doesn't have to be along here, it can be pretty much anywhere. And now we've got to try and get our orbit line. You need to focus on Duna. Got to try and get your orbit line around Duna. So you need to get it. Now keep your orbit right on this side of Duna if you're doing it. I made the mistake and I thought that it was that the right way was to go on the other way around, on the other side of Duna. So you can see periapsis is on this side of Duna. If yours is on the other side, keep it over this side. I didn't quite realize that the way the orbits work. It's a bit hard to describe at the moment, but you generally want to try and keep your orbit on the other side. It's just going to help out. Anyway, so also, if you are wondering why you don't have any of these parts, you're either in career mode or science mode. You want to be in sandbox mode when you're just beginning. I mean, going to science mode can be fun, but like, I really only ever once done science mode, and I've absolutely had it on dead easy. So anyway, now you can see we're performing our little correction burn with the nuclear engines. Try and get it as accurate as you can. Also, you'll notice that things are going a little fairly fast, and that's because I've sped this up two times in editing software. Anyway, I should probably slow down speaking. Anyway, now you can see we're getting our orbit planned around Duna. You generally want to have your periapsis. You want to have your periapsis above the atmosphere of Duna. Aerobraking comes in the future if you've heard about it. Aerobraking is just using the atmosphere to slow you down into an orbit. But don't worry about that now. And now you can see my moment I realized that I was actually coming down on the wrong orbit. Anyway, yeah, so now we're coming down, and just time warp down to the maneuver node. So Duna, start again. Duna is the first planet you should go to, first interplanetary mission, because Duna's got a relatively low gravity, but it's quite easy to get captured around it. And it's very easy to do a there and back mission. It's quite easy. It's not hard at all. In fact, some rockets which you take to the Mun, most rockets will be able to do a mission if you just added a few parachutes. We'll be able to do a mission to Duna and back. So that's of course if your Mun one is made to go to Kerbin and back. I probably should have said that, but I think you'd be able to do this mission even if you haven't been to Mun, if you haven't done a return mission from the Mun. Anyway, also I might sound like I'm bragging when I'm saying I'm doing a tutorial, but I've literally only played KSP for 1 year, and I can get to pretty much every planet in the game without too much difficulty. Probably not the most efficient, but I can do it pretty good. So even though I sound arrogant, I'm actually quite beginner too, but this is the way to do things. So when a beginner finds the way to do something, they can teach more beginners how to do it because they have found the way to do it. So anyway, you won't need any heat shields for this because the atmosphere is really thin on Duna, and you can see all the parachutes I've got on this. You want to have all of those parachutes, and you want to set them to all of them to deploy as high up as you can. So this may also not necessarily have to be a tutorial. This is just like maybe a video. It's up to you. You can use it as a tutorial. I'm making it as a tutorial, but it could also just be a fun little video to watch. Of course, it's up to you. Anyway, try and set your parachutes to deploy as high as you can, because when you're coming down, there you go. I've got all the parachutes to deploy. You notice what I did up there. Make sure that's on land because there's no water on Duna, and your parachutes will probably deploy once you've hit the ground. Anyway, even with all these parachutes, this wasn't quite enough to slow me down before I hit Duna. So I think I did a little quick load here because I tipped over, so I had to do some work on the landing legs. Just see how I've done things, and see that we've got a little tip over. Nothing broke, but still a bit of a tip over. Also, if you're a beginner to KSP, one of the best mods you can get, just to start out with, is Don't worry about any other mods. Just worry about better time warp. Just worry about better time warp. No other mods. Better time warp. Literally, it's the best mod. It's the mod I can't live without. A mod basically allows you to have unlimited time warp, and which is absolutely just a lifesaver. Because the normal one really limits your thing. Really limits it. Anyway, as you can see there, that's decoupled. That's a little, that was an extra parachute. I didn't quite fully think through how it was supposed to work. Anyway, you saw how I did the landing legs, how I strengthened them up just so we didn't quite tip over properly. We are on a bit of a tilt, but it doesn't really matter. I probably could have corrected it by adjusting all the different strengths of the landing legs. Anyway, also, if you'd like to see me expand this base on Duna, tell me in the... If you'd like to see me expand this base, just let me know in the comments. Because I'd love to know if I should expand this or just keep it the way it is. Any experienced players watching this, or with a higher experience than me at least, and you have some tips for tutorials, please do not hesitate to leave leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear what you have to say. And yeah, so now we're waddling a little Kerbal over to near the little wreckage of the parachute module. Now you can see how big it is. That's the smallest fuel tank you can get. Oh no, it's not the smallest, but it is, I think, the second smallest. Anyway, planting the flag, and now you have successfully landed on Duna. I probably should have said that earlier, but now you guarantee that you've landed on Duna once the flag... No, start again. Once the flag is stuck in the ground. Yeah, so anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please do not hesitate to leave a like and subscribe. It would really help me out, and I'd really appreciate you for it. Any tips or anything you want to tell me about my video and how I improve, even bad comments, just tell me. They're always helpful. And I've got a link to my subreddit down in the comments if you want to have talking with me. And I will see you in the next video. KerbalVision signing out.